What's up guys, Brian here, Fugo Gaming. In this video, we're taking the Honor Magic7 Pro for a spin. And the big question is, can it game? On paper, it's packing a fast OLED screen, a flagship Snapdragon 8 Elite chipset, a big battery, and solid cameras. But specs are one thing, real-world gaming is another. So let's push this phone to its limit and see how it holds up in the actual gameplay. First, for the design and build. The Magic7 Pro feels premium in the hand. It has a solid metal frame, curved glass front and back, and a clean look with a large crown camera module. It's rated IP68, IP69 for dust and water resistance, so it can handle splashes and rain. The stereo speakers are loud and add a lot to games and movies. There's no headphone jack and no microSD slot, so you'll use Bluetooth or USB-C for audio and live with the built-in storage. The phone uses a 6.8-inch LTPO OLED display at 1:120Hz with very high HDR peak brightness up to 500 nits in HDR. It's sharp, smooth, and easy to view outdoors. Inside is Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite with an Adreno 830 GPU, paired with 12GB of RAM and 512GB of UFS 4.0 storage. Power comes from a 5850 mAh silicon carbon battery with 100 watts wired and 80 watts wireless charging. There's no bypass charging on this model. Overall, this is a proper flagship hardware. We run the usual benchmarks like Antutu, Geekbench, and 3D Mark. We'll flash those numbers on the screen. The scores line up with what you'd expect from Snapdragon 8 Elite phones, which is to say, top tier. Benchmarks are nice for reference, but what matters is how the phone plays real games for long sessions. We play each game for 30 minutes at the highest graphics settings available. We track average FPS and the peak surface temperature on the back of the phone. This shows two things most players care about: how smooth the game feels and how hot the phone gets over time. The first game was Call of Duty MOBA. It stayed at 60 FPS and only reached 34 degrees Celsius. Even after half an hour, the phone felt cool with no frame drops or lag. Mobile Legends use the high refresh well, averaging 120 FPS at 37 degrees Celsius. It stayed smooth and barely warmed up, which is great for long ranked sessions. Genshin Impact held a steady 60 FPS and peaked at 39 degrees Celsius. You'll feel some warm near the top after 20 minutes, but the frame rate stays consistent, with only small dips during heavy fights. Asphalt 9 Legends match that smoothness at 120 FPS with the same 39°C temperature. Drift and boost felt responsive the whole time. Zenless Zone Zero ran at 60 FPS and reached 40°C. There were a few small drops during busy scenes, but it stayed very playable. Devil May Cry Peak of Combat also hit 120 FPS at 40°C, keeping fast action smooth from start to finish. CarX Drift Racing 2 averaged 60 FPS and reached 41°C, the warmest we saw, but handling stayed sharp even toward the end of the run. Now let's talk about what we like about this phone. The display is a clear highlight. It's bright and colorful, and the 120Hz LTPO panel makes games and scrolling look very smooth. Audio is another strength. The stereo speakers are loud and full, which helps with immersion in shooters and racing games. The 5850 mAh battery holds up well for long play sessions, and 100 watts wired charging plus 80 watts wireless charging gets you back to full fast. Build quality is solid, and the IP68 IP69 rating adds peace of mind for everyday use. Honor is also promising long software support, which is great for buyers who keep phones for years. Now we go on to the what we didn't like about the Honor Magic 7 Pro. Magic OS still ships with some extra apps out of the box, so you may want to uninstall or disable a few things on day one. There's no headphone jack and no microSD for storage expansion. And while heat is controlled pretty well, longer sessions in heavy games can push the phone to around 40 to 41 degrees Celsius. It doesn't throttle hand in our runs, but you'll feel the warmth on the back after 20 to 30 minutes. The Honor Magic 7 Pro is a real flagship that can game. It runs the big titles smoothly, makes good use of its fast OLED screen, and holds performance over longer sessions without major drops. It's not a gaming phone with shoulder triggers or a wild design, but it doesn't need to be. This is a high-end all-rounder that also plays games very well. So the question is, can it game? Yes, if you want a premium phone that looks and feels top tier, takes strong photos, and still delivers smooth, stable gameplay, the Magic 7 Pro is an easy recommendation. Just remember you're paying flagship money in return for true flagship parts. But it doesn't cost like the other flagship phones. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and also visit our website gaming.ecotech.com for more gaming stuff, news, and reviews. This is Brian, and see you again on the next one.